the transformative influence of mystical shapes and diagrams, just by virtue of having those shapes and diagrams, drawn, on, or keeping it with you, can have amazing positive effects. As we can see in Oregon in 1990, August of 1990, they drew a 13-mile wide or long certain mystical geometry derived from the Hindu philosophies, and it was drawn in a desert, and it looked immaculate, and they even believed that it was possible that aliens did it, but they eventually concluded that it was a group of people that did it, that drew it on the desert sand. But miraculously, that area became like an oasis. Grass started to grow, plants that were extinct started to grow, and people that went to that place where it was drawn, they started to feel like immense peace and so forth. So there is one of the diagrams called the Immaculate Geometry, from there, called the Sri Yantra, that I'm going to give some of my perspectives from my own independent, unique, practical experience, on its significance, not derived from what people, traditionally ascribe to it. And that's what I'm going to be discussing in the video today. Those of you who like the contents of my videos, please don't forget to press like and subscribe. That's going to greatly help my channel to be able to reach out to more people and help more people. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for the small act that is appreciated in a very great way. Bless you, and may you achieve peace and prosperity and all the goals in your life. So also coming back to my own self, those of you who don't know me, I am Osman, hashtag the blind Muslim yogi, and anecdotally I always say the man from Oz, right? Like the Wizard of Oz, because I'm involved in this thing for so many decades. Anyway, jokes aside, I specialize in bioenergy healing on a master level with telepathic capabilities, and I specialize in critical care recovery and terminal illnesses, amongst a host of other physiological, psychological, and even spiritual ailments. If you have any condition that you are concerned about, medical condition that is not, and you feel there's no solution to it, feel free to connect with me for a free consultation, and let's discuss your problem, right? Even if it's spiritual in nature or psychological nature. For example, a 10-minute anxiety fix, right? Delivered to you telepathically anywhere where you are for just $5, less than the price of a Starbucks coffee. You don't have to break the bank to, attain miraculous and something, and harness the power of a non-invasive, powerful method from ancient philosophies, right? That's over 1,000 years old. So also I'm from, my contact information, sorry, go to yogawellness786.com. You'll get my contact information and more information about my services. I'm also an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher. I've been practicing this art form for almost 50 years and teaching it now for 46 years, totally free throughout the period. And in that period, I had the great opportunity to study under various masters, but the unique thing is that they were from different cultures and different schools of thought across the globe, from the Far East, the East, the Middle East, the West, including the scientific communities, and I extracted the essence of everything and made simplified protocols that are more adapted to the 21st century, basically making it faster, easier, quicker, more time efficient, and results oriented. Basically making, I now have, as a result of that, students in over 100 countries. And my favorite protocol is my 5-minute yoga and meditation program, which you can download for free by visiting my website, yogawellness786.com. Also remember that all my therapies are natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. So coming back to this immaculate geometry called the Sri Yantra, and this is something this is what was drawn in Oregon, and it had the miraculous effect of creating an oasis there, right? So this is what made me to consider, because I learned about these things theoretically, and I had the occasion to experience some miraculous benefits as a result of these things, right? Of these incantations and so forth in my life. And some people could say it's just my sheer hard work and coincidence. But I remember I was struggling for a very long time until I brought these incantations. Until this day, I don't forget to do my 5 daily prayers and reciting the Quran. And I believe there is power behind, these mystical words, right, that are there. And even, there is mantras from not trying to alienate or set aside other religion. There are amazing power in, I went into Saamadhi experiences just sitting in the church, right? Just listening to the hymns being sung, and it lifted me, like I felt the energy lifting me up, and I felt, immense miraculous powers from the Hindu mantras as well, right? So coming back to this immaculate geometry, it is basically the first mistake. So it's got a number of circles, just 3 concentric circles, and 9 main triangles in the inside, and they say a square outside, but it's not a square. What is a square? You went to baby class. Square has got 4 sides. This thing that's outside does not have 4 sides. It only got 3 lines, 3 sides. There's one side is open. They say no, but it's square in shape. So the 3 lines are drawn square in shape, but it is also a triangle that if you open up a triangle wide, right, and you put everything inside, it's showing that one of the triangle representing the spiritual, the goddess, or the deity. I won't use the word goddess, it's the wrong word, right? The Devi, right? The Devi of it is just the English translation. God means there's a god, there's no gods and goddesses in Hinduism. The Devis and Devatas, right? The Devi, right? Because the Supreme God is beyond the concept of the mind. We can't understand it or conceive of it beyond space and time. Once we can understand it, we brought it within the ambit of our mind, right? Our minds are limited, so our minds are finite. Our intelligence is finite. You can't bring that which is infinite to finite. So the first big mistake they're making is saying that it's a square. It's just 3 lines. It's not a square. It is an upside down triangle. So upside down triangle denoting a feminine, in this case, representing it could represent a number of things, but representing the female aspect, the feminine form. So it's not like in our sense of feminine, not like the normal feminine, right? But more like energy in action. So you have the potential energy and the kinetic energy. So the energy in action is called kinetic energy. They call it Shakti, right? And they denote it as the mother, as the femme, because the source of creation. It opened up and created everything that's there. The energy created everything. So the triangle had to open up to mix, because it's an expanding universe. Science agrees that universe is expanding all the time. It's getting bigger and bigger. So it couldn't contain within the triangle, right? Upside down triangle. It had to keep stretching, right? So it's not a square. That's number 1, right? Fallacy from what everyone. Second one, there's about 9 triangles, and there's 43 triangles in total, because from the interlocking and the overlapping, I don't feel there's any significance to that. It's just a matter because it's overlapping. As due to the overlap, there is creation of other triangles that they're discounting, but it isn't a separate triangle that's been drawn. It's as a result of these 9 triangles, and they are 5 downward facing and 4 upward facing. Initially I thought, no, it's representing 5 female aspects and 4 male aspects. But that is now, we're thinking like a human, right? Male and female. And the Devis and these are energies, the sources of energy, right? And they represent them anecdotally. They are iconic, right? They will have certain things that mean certain things. So for humans to understand the energy of that source from a painting, like a abstract painting, right? So it may have certain meaning. And some people say, of physically you can see the form as well. Maybe you create it, and you can get the energy to gather in that form and create it, and for you to see it as well. It's possible, right? With you doing it. But the nine triangles, what is representing the five material energy centers and the four spiritual energy centers, and the 10th one being, of course, the one that's opened, right? So there's representing the 10 Mahavidyas, because it's the Mahavidyas are 10 in number, not 9, right? So the 10th one is the triangle that's opened up. It looks like it's a square, but it doesn't have the third side, right? That is created everything, the highest level, right? Representing the highest form of that deity or energy or Devi, right? The highest form of the, let's say, the Shakti, right? The correct word is Adi Shakti, right? Adi Shakti. Adi means timeless, most ancient, oldest, original. Shakti is power, tremendous power, right? So the Adi Shakti, right? Referring to the Adi Shakti that's the triangle, right? So which are the five, which are the nine, which is represents is the root chakra, is the five downward facing triangles, is the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra, your heart chakra, and your throat chakra. Because in meditation, because you must know this diagram is coming from Tantra. Tantra originally came from Kashmiri Saivism. Although it's very popular in South India, but it was brought to South India from North India, from the region of Kashmir. In Kashmiri Saivism, there the original purpose of it was for Kundalini Yoga, where they worship the Kundalini as a Devi, as a Shakti, right? As a feminine form, right? Of God, right? Energy, very powerful energy. And when you awaken your Kundalini, and the Kundalini rises and activates your chakras up to the throat chakra, you're experiencing life still as though in your body. You experience your consciousness is still, you still feel you are the body and you're conscious of your body. But from this chakra, from the third eye chakra, you're no more in your body, you pop up into your astral body. When this opens fully, right? You are no more, you feel you are not this body, that this physical body is within your body. You feel you are actually the energy body. You feel very powerful. Your mind, you can see past, present, and future. The speed at which your mind thinks there on that level is exponentially. It's like comparing, the speed of light, right, to someone who's walking, to someone, on a bicycle and a Ferrari, right? Or let's say Cybertruck to a Porsche 911. Although we won't make fun of Porsche 911. I love the shape, and I love a Porsche 911, right? It's one of my favorite. But Cybertruck's the boss, right? He's the boss. He can tow a 911 and still beat the 911 in a race, right? I love Cybertruck. Sorry for that, distraction. So up to the throat, these are the five downward facing triangles. The four upward facing triangle represents, and you must trace the path of the Kundalini. Fortunately, I had multiple Saamadhi experiences, and so I know what this thing. So the forehead region, the chakra, it's not here in the forehead. It's actually somewhere here. It's in your. So everyone mistakenly say it's in the forehead. It's not here, but you can access it through putting your energy, your hand here. It's got a root in the physical, somewhere in the middle of back, above your palate. It's not a physical center. It is a spiritual center. You can't see it. You can't dissect the brain and see it. It's basically in the region where the pineal gland is situated, right? In that location, approximately, right? Is where, so when they do initiation, or we do chakra and blocking or something, you can access it by placing your hand or your thumb, in the forehead region, and activating that energy there. But it's actually is when I experienced its awakening, I felt myself above my body, right? That the energy center is somewhere here, right? and where that eye, you're seeing from there, as though there's a singular eye, and you can see 360 degrees. So that is the so the four, the balance of the five. So the four from the 9 triangles, the next four, number 1 is the third eye chakra. Number 2 is the Brahmarandra that you have to penetrate. There's like a spiritual opening, and there's also a physical hole that forms in Buddhist. There is a certain practice that you do, and it makes a hole in the top of your head. When you were born, there was a hole on the top. The skull was apart. There was a gap there, not a big hole, but there was a gap in the bones, and the bones fused together and closely, right? But in Buddhist meditation, when you reach a certain level, you do a meditation and a practice, you push your energy until a small hole, like you can push like a twig of a grass in there. And they normally put this thing, and you got like a pot plant on your head, like a little, like a small tree growing from your head, to solidify that hole, so that it's easy for your energy to go to the next level, right? To the seventh, easily at the time of your death, to make it very easy, not a struggle to go, right? So when I felt the gap opening up, initially I felt a piercing pain, right? And now it's closed up. It's not there anymore, right? It's closed up. But I'm able to access, and I don't want to go to the seventh chakra. But the seventh chakra, where you experience Nirvikalpi Samadhi, is now the third triangle. And then above the Sabhikalpi Samadhi, where you're experiencing bliss, right? And massive energy, right? You're feeling that in the seventh chakra. So that's the third triangle. Triangle 1, third eye. Triangle 2, the Brahmarandra. Triangle 3, the Sahasrara chakra. And then triangle number 4 is the chakra above that, where you experience Nirvikalpi Samadhi, where you lose the sense of your ego, who is I. You feel you and the universe are one. You feel you are the universe. You actually don't feel, because there's no you, there's no I, there's no me. You lose everything. They call that the non-dual state, right? Where there's no dualism, there's no separateness. Everything is one, it's perceived as one, and it is indescribable, because you need a mind to describe it, and you don't have a mind in that level, right? So that is the fourth triangle. And the fifth triangle. Fourth triangle is that one that looks like a square that opened up, that contains everything, and that says when there's dissolution, it's gonna absorb everything back. There's going to be dissolution, and everything going to be retracted. So everything, they said, is spreading, and is going to recompress or regather together, right? Theoretically, right? So, and anecdotally. And then the 3 concentric circles, like as you're progressing with your Kundalini, you must relate this to Kundalini yoga always, because that's the origin. This is what it's designed for, not this fancy thing that people are talking about. So your Kundalini, as you're progressing with your journey, your first circle is the Annamaya, your physical consciousness, right? Your physical body. Your second level is your energy body. You become established in your energy body. There's 5 layers, but you become established. Now you feel you're no longer the physical body, you feel you are the energy body. You will not feel like how you feel, like now you feel your consciousness is as far as your body. You will feel your consciousness not in this body. You're numb to this body. Your consciousness will be in your energy body. And then when you evolve higher than your energy body, you go to your causal body, which is the light body, and where you get the powers that you can walk on water, you'll be able to float, and get the power to levitate. All this power comes when you activate the third level. Those are the 3 concentric circles, right, that are going. And then you got some of the diagrams got like 8 petals, on the inside, and 16 petals on the outside. And so although they try to attribute the different energies and the powers of the mind and all these philosophies, but I don't attribute that. The 16 petals for me is obvious, because it represents the 16 mantra, right? The 16 lettered mantra, right? So they say it is the 15 Panchadashi mantra and the Shodashi mantra, but it's 16. Actually, it's 16, right? It's 15 plus 1 is 16. The complete mantra, including one more letter, makes it 16. It's a 16 this thing. With due respect, my interpretation, right, is 16. The petals represents the 16 letter, or the form of the, it represents the energy of the fullest form of the energy of the Devi. You got the full 16 letters in the last outermost concentric circle, where you got the power of levitation. You get all the powers. You're feeling that you are one with the energy, the source of that energy, or you become non-dual there, right? So you're getting that full, and then the second concentric got 8, half that. So you're only halfway there, right? So when you feel you can see past, present, and future, you are timeless. You are not yet all there. You're only halfway there, right? A lot of people, they get excited. I'm now enlightened, like Gopi Krishna. He felt he reached the peak of his evolution. He became established in the superconscious state, and the superconscious. This is only, you're only halfway there, brother. You need to go much more to reach where you'll be able to, attain the deathless body. So deathless body, you get many people there. You die at will, and you will stop aging when you reach that level. Or you can reverse age yourself. So some people don't use the power to reverse age the body, but there are people that attain, that are rumored to be like the Maha Avatar Babaji, referred to in the book by the autobiography of a yogi. Oh, I mean, it's a very famous book, very respected author. So there could be, where there's smoke, there's fire, that there is this entity that looks in his 30s, and he's been living for, centuries, according to, all accounts. Because even decades later, when Paramahamsa Yogananda met him or saw him, he saw him as still as a young person, and this person was seen decades before by his grand guru, Lahiri Mahasai, looking, in the same young form, right? So it's not aging, and there's not only one figure. There's so many, you can investigate. There's so many references to this, not only in the Hindu religion, even in the Islamic tradition. There is Khidr and Musa in the story in Surat Al-Kahf in the Quran, of the deathless body, right? The person who is deathless and still alive today, his name is Khidr. He was the one who Moses met and spoke to and referred to in the Quran, right? And they also said, there's so many other, I don't want to go into controversial discussions and so forth, but needless to say, the 8 petals denoting you're only halfway there, and the 16 petals is now you are fully there. That's the maximum level you can reach. You can't go more than that, right? And you're becoming one with everything, with infinity. So this is my take and my interpretation, of the Immaculate Geometry and this mantra, which is what, you can do more Google search on it and so forth, and try to introduce it and see if it works for you, right? I mean, the people had the power of it, and they breathed the power of it and drew it in Oregon in a mass scale, 13 miles long, right? In 1990, and had amazing, miraculous energy. So from my studies of mantra and taran, so the diagram is called the yantra. They say the 2-dimensional form, and there's also a 3-dimensional form, which takes the form of a Devi or a Deva, that humanoid. But humans don't look like that. Humans don't have multiple hands and shark-like teeth and all these things, right? So far from, but looking both, we won't say beautiful, but some beautiful and so some are fierce, right? Very fierce, right? If you see them, right? Some of these depictions. It's amazing, very interesting, right? So it's the yantra, you can draw it, but just drawing it alone won't work. You need the power you need to incant the mantras to transmit the power in it. So the person who drew this immaculate must have had the power of it and chanted the mantra into the diagram, and the diagram locks the mantra when you chant it, and it gains power that way. You transfer your power to the physical diagram, and you can keep it in a place and say, okay, I'm traveling a lot, to get a protection yantra, to protect your family, or you give it to your child to keep this, to protect them, so that their mind, it influences their magneticism and their own geometry, right? So these are dealing with a science that is very little understood, that quantum physics is now starting to understand. So remember that even my energy healing is part of this quantum field, using quantum energy, right? It's not something that can be measured by instruments. It's a non-invasive, very powerful, based on ancient things. If you want to consider this alternative form of therapy, feel free to contact me for a free consultation, right? And you can visit my website, yogawellness786.com, for more contact information and more information about my services and so forth. And remember, if you can also contact me for a 10-minute anxiety fix delivered to you telepathically anywhere for less than the price of a Starbucks coffee, or just $5. Take care always.